pranks, destroy scam callers, GlitterBomb, Payback.
I had 100 cockroaches here, and I placed them in this James Bond style.
Turn off the. Oh, is the audio boost still on? No, it's not even on. I don't know.
Contraption.
What? Wait. I didn't even realize those were real.
I had 100 cockroaches here, and I placed them in this James Bond style contraption that turns this ball screw and forces them out after a specified time delay. And then I put it in a lunchbox for camouflage, and then I released them in this office.
Bro,
now you might think, that's not very nice, Mark. Some people are afraid of cockroaches.
He's an evil
Trust me,
superhero.
I know.
The video's just loud compared to your voice.
And that's exactly the point, because this isn't
better?
just any office. This is ground zero for one of those terrible call centers that scams people of their life savings. A year ago when I released this video about inadvertently stumbling onto the low-level thugs in this international scam operation, I said we were gonna glitter bomb our way all the way to the top, even
Your
if
audio mix been fucked for days. Stuff is either loud for you. What? I haven't even changed anything though. Max gain. I'll just turn it down a bit for
it
now.
meant taking this fight to the other side of the globe. And so after a year and a half of planning, we infiltrated not one, not two, not three, but 4 different scam call centers. We released cockroaches, smoke bombs, stink bombs, glitter bombs, and then of course we hacked their CCTV so we could watch the whole thing unfold in real time. So buckle up, because this is the wild conclusion to this multinational adventure, and please watch to the end because there's something you can actually do to help put the nail in the coffin of these 4 massive call centers. Now, why would we go after this $20 billion scam industry? Well, we're doing it for the 60 million people who've lost money to scammers in the past year. But more specifically, we're doing it for Bessie, who you might recall from my previous video when I detailed exactly how one of these scams worked.
You're like my granny, Miss Bessie. Do you know this?
Yes.
She was like one of my closest friends.
Oh.
I used to share each and everything with her.
Basically, it starts with an email or a spam call.
Fuck?
Then they pretend to be
Fuck that
Amazon
guy.
or Microsoft.
Yeah, what a piece
and they
of
tell
shit.
the victim they've been charged $200 for something, but if you call back, you could dispute the charge. Then after they call, they eventually get on the victim's computer and importantly, have the victim type the $200 refund amount into a bogus form.
Please enter your refund amount.
Only they take over and secretly type the amount of $20,000 and then they hit enter real quick.
Check everything. Is it correct?
Oh no, this is a mistake. Oh, I screwed up.
Oh, Jesus.
It was
No.
supposed to be a 200 in there. Oh, God almighty. I'm exhausted. I can't do this.
Oh.
My mind is absolutely fried.
Please check your account. Did you really receive that money in your account?
Then they take her to a totally fake, spoofed bank account page where it looks like because of Bessie's mistake, they just sent her $20,000 instead of $200.
Oh my God. Plus 20,000.
Yeah.
Please save my job, ma'am. If I'll not earn for my family will die due to hunger, due to starvation. Oh, please,
Yes,
ma'am,
of course. I mean,
No,
what
she's
should I do? I mean,
crying.
I can,
feeling bad for you. You are also like my grandmother.
you know, I'm an honest
You are
person.
making me cry
I'm,
now. You are making me cry
Fuck this
now.
guy.
I'm getting attached to you.
now how do I fix this?
Oh
And
my
now you
god,
can see
bro.
how he's weaponized her empathy. Now to fix her mistake, how she'd be willing to go to the bank and withdraw what she thinks is an extra $20,000 in cash, when in reality, it's $20,000 of her hard-earned savings. And she's gonna send it in the mail to a heartless scammer.
the
Now in case you
mail?
think they've gotten a lot nicer over the last year, here's
Dude.
another call from a few weeks ago where the scam is to pretend they're from the government and there's some missing taxes that are owed.
I just retired, as I say, last February, and then I was diagnosed with breast cancer in August. So my retirement hasn't been very good so far.
Fuck.
And after today, I know it's not your fault.
This is
but
so
it's
sad.
worked out.
Oh, I'm
But as
so
I say,
sorry
I
to
would
hear that.
rather just pay it. Otherwise, I'll be worrying about it, and I'll be worse in my health. You know what I mean? Or even if I have to pay it in 2 halves.
So the scammer places her on hold to talk with the authorities and to see if there's just something
They
that can be
make
done
a
to help
literal
her out.
Thank you
business
so
out of
much for
doing this
holding the line,
shit,
ma'am.
bro.
I just had a word with the Higher authorities, and I informed them about your situation, and they are also concerned about your health.
So concerned, in fact, she'll only have to send these scammers $2,000.
Actual amount found out missing in the taxes is $1,489.
Now, last year's operation was effective in getting a handful of people involved in this scam not only covered in glitter, but also arrested. But the problem was, we discovered these were just the low-level mules and supervisors who would then send the bulk of the money back to the actual scammers in India. And while we did turn over all the intel we gathered to the 5 major government agencies that reached out to us to truly avenge Bessie, our goal was to take our glitter all the way to the top and either temporarily disrupt or possibly even permanently shut down a few of these terrible call centers. It'd be like a special operation, and every special operation needs a special ops team, a target, and a plan. For the team, I turn back to my good friend Jim Browning, who you recall from last year has a YouTube channel that specializes in reversing the connection to the scammers' computers and gaining access to their CCTV footage.
Is there anything else you want to ask?
Yeah, I want to know why you scam people.
And then another YouTube channel called Trilogy Media would be the boots on the ground in India implementing the pranks, but more on them later. For the target, together we were able to locate and gather tons of incriminating information on 4 different scam call centers. For starters, there's Met Technologies, located in Kolkata, India, on the 5th floor of this building. They've been in operation over 12 years, and they've got over 1,000 agents. Their owner is Mr. Kunal Gupta, and you can even see the rest of their leadership team here on their public website. And you might ask, well, why would a scam call center have a public website? And the answer is they all do, because they have a very small percentage of their employees do legitimate call center work. So if they get raided by the authorities, they can point to that small group and say their hands are clean, while the real money-making operation runs here behind a secure door. Then we found VRM.
How do so many people work at these companies and no one? They're all just fine with it. It's crazy.
24 hours a day in 3 shifts to target people in time zones all across the globe. Oh, and allow me to introduce to the world Rajesh and Vidya Goenka, the husband and wife co-owners. Next was Anj Info Solutions on the 5th floor of this building. They also run 3 shifts, 24 hours a day, and they've been up and running for 11 years with all their key info shown here. They're located just a block away from VRM. In fact, all 3 of these centers were located.
They're watching Twitch on their second monitors.
In Kolkata, India.
Oh, Lord.
For scam call centers like this. And finally, there was one more we located, but we're not releasing public information on them yet, and you'll see why in just a little bit. And so once we'd amassed mountains of evidence against all 4 of them thanks to Jim's handiwork, we hired 10 private investigator types to apply for jobs at each of these centers, and after a few weeks, we had them all
thanks
in
for the
place.
raid. Bro, I saw you were playing that Twitter incest game. I mean, I actually played that game off stream, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Huh? It's called the Coffin of. Oh, let me show you guys. People are probably like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Why off stream? Because I have a life off stream. I do play games and stuff off stream. Yeah, this is the game. It's it was entertaining, I suppose. It was alright. It's kinda cringe. I don't know if I'd say kinda. It was definitely a something. Oh, guess what else I'm doing? You gotta do what you gotta do, man. I'm riding the elevator.
Now, in order for them not to arouse suspicion, they had to legitimately scam some people, but we told them to remember the victim's information, and then we would reach out and double any money that was lost. And at first, one of our agents in the VRM call center went against protocol and used his phone to capture some footage for us of the bathrooms and the server rack and whatever this is. But they must have seen him filming with his phone on their CCTV, because the next day, some of the security team showed up at his house. Now, luckily, his roommate knew to lie and say he wasn't home, and he was able to escape through the back alley, but they stayed out in front of it.
I like how every time Asmin raids me, I get these kinds of chatters. You a boy. Yeah, man, how'd you know? What gave it away? I'm just curious. How'd you figure it out?
His house all day, and later sent this message saying the director wanted to speak with him and they would pay him handsomely, and of course he didn't need to be scared. They were just simply curious what kind of evidence he'd gathered against them already.
Oh yeah, we're watching a video about scam call centers. This guy wanted to, you'll just see.
From that point on, we reiterated to the remaining 9 to lay really low like a sleeper cell until we were ready to activate the plan. And speaking of the plan, now that we saw what we were up against, we knew we'd have to go full James Bond Q mode with some high-tech gadgetry that can make it past security. Which is why this first prank is just a water bottle. Kind of. I mean, it can function
water
as a
bottle
water
bomb,
bottle, but if you unscrew just this portion of the lid, it reveals a trough. And if you put military-grade putrid smelling stuff in that trough and then screw the lid back on fully, it creates a perfect seal and you can't smell anything. But then at the exact precise moment you want to release a cloud of death, you just twist the lid like this, allowing the smell to escape through these holes and fill the room. And we're using a water bottle because from looking at the CCTV footage, we know they allow them to have water bottles at their desks, so they'll be able to sneak them past security.
Of course,
plus,
how would they
no
ever
one's
see
going
it
to
then?
suspect that's the origin of the smell. Next up, if you take some hand soap and add just a few drops of the same kitchen-grade food coloring we used on the Devil's Toothpaste explosion, then when you wash your hands, it will leave them stained for at least a day. Oh crap. We'll leave this in the bathroom, and as a bonus, we'll learn exactly who does and doesn't wash their hands. This next one is the most simple, but also perhaps the most effective.
I like how they just try to be annoying.
And then print out and paste on some of these
Like,
labels,
these guys are ruining elderly people's lives, and they're like, yeah, let's just be as annoyed to them as possible for their crimes.
And then you leave it in the bathroom next to your blue soap. Next up is that custom-built box that can store cockroaches in it. So after a predetermined time delay, the microcontroller will trigger the stepper motor, which causes the wall to slide along this ball
He did say at the beginning that some got
shut
shut down, though,
then nothing happens until the timer expires. And then suddenly, you get a bunch of cockroaches crawling out of a lunchbox. Although
Okay,
you can
that's
put more than just cockroaches in here. And some other
crazy.
ideas we had were bees, because we heard India has some species that don't actually sting, as well as possibly rats, because we already knew from looking at their security footage that once released, the rats can make themselves right at home. And using a lunchbox for camouflage is once again a strategic choice, because we already knew from our recon work, they always make it past security because no one actually checks what's inside. Next up, I love the idea of the chaos that could result if we set off a smoke bomb, but we were concerned that might be crossing a line if the room was too small, because like the glitter bombs, I want everything I do to be exciting, but at the end of the day, relatively harmless. So instead, we found these micro foggers that are basically like massive vape pens. And we also noticed motorcycle helmets were allowed onto the floor and past security. So the plan was to put it inside a helmet like this, and then it would also detonate itself based on a timer. And finally, as the pièce de résistance, we're gonna deliver them a package. Only this isn't an ordinary package. It's GlitterBomb 4.0, which of course, as we all know, is equipped with a pound of the world's finest glitter and an uncharitable amount of fart spray.
His two favorites.
And so now that our team, target, and plan were in place, after 1.5 years of prep work, it was time to avenge Bessie and execute the special operation. Step 1 was getting the Trilogy Media guys all the way over to India with all the contraptions stored securely in their luggage.
My guys stepping foot on Indian soil.
Now safely on the ground, step 2 was to go pick up those stingless bees that we could put in the lunchbox. But once they'd arrived to the beekeeper, they found out you can't just take a few bees, but you have to take the whole hive.
In the dude, no. They're gonna get out. I'm not afraid.
Also, apparently, there's no such thing as stingless bees.
Oh my god. Oh,
So we punted on that idea and headed to an open-air market where we could at least secure some rats. By the way, the Trilogy Media YouTube channel is composed of Ashton, who's a former magician, and Art, who played professional basketball in Russia for 8 years. They're just an incredible duo. And speaking of incredible things, this is a good time to point out that the real people of India were just so freaking lovely. It's true that nearly every scam call you get originates from that country.
How's the leveling going? Oh yeah, the leveling's going so good, guys. Don't worry.
And no one wants to be defined by the worst in their midst. Most people we interacted with there had hearts more like Johnny, who's an honorary member of the team and a reformed scammer who's made it his life's mission to do whatever he can to take these guys down, even if that means working some back channels to get our hands on 100 cockroaches.
All right, let's go.
So with the goods procured, it was time to meet up with our sleeper agents at the hotel to do some final prep on the contraptions, which went about as well as expected.
Seriously though, are we gonna test it right here? Right here? You can't do it in the bathroom?
16, 17.
Bro, with a toothbrush? Why does it have to be a toothbrush? Makes me sick.
Okay. Grab. Stop.
Bro, they're just picking up their hands! Holy fuck.
No, please. Okay, pause. Pause. Accounted for, right? Everyone?
I swear, I would not let you down.
We decided the first call center we'd hit would be Anj, and we were feeling optimistic about our chances. And that's exactly when our special operation received its first major blow. So apparently there's this WhatsApp group that 55,000 scammers all across India belong to.
55,000?
Call centers can communicate with each other. And because Johnny was still a member of this group from his former days, he saw this message pop up. 2 of us in the town of Kolkata have seen cuss word trilogy people. We followed them, but the driver drove the car
Wait,
very
they got
fast
caught.
to the Salt Lake side. There was 2 Indians with them, and they were shooting a movie. So apparently some scammers had recognized
Wait, they caught
Arden
onto
Ashton
it.
at the
Oh,
market
God.
as the Trilogy Media YouTube guys, because they've confronted a lot of scammers in their 5 years of making videos. Now, thankfully,
Damn,
just out of
they do
habit, Johnny
research.
was driving in a way that would make it hard for anyone to tail them, but they still were able to pinpoint their hotel location within about a half a mile. But then it got much worse. Might be they are working
Holy
with the FBI,
shit.
so I request all of our brothers to have an eye in Salt Lake, so whenever you see them, you shoot them. Which was
Wait, this is they're actually doing really fucking
devastating.
dangerous shit just to prank these motherfuckers. Jesus. Holy
because
fuck.
it seemed pretty clear to me that we'd have to scrap the whole operation because while the mission was important, it definitely wasn't worth anyone getting hurt. But when I brought this up to the guys, they'd already discussed it amongst themselves and decided this was a cause they were passionate about that they were willing to accept some risks. So we decided moving forward, Arden Ashton wouldn't step a foot outside their hotel room, and that's when the second major blow came. Because apparently the group text warning spooked the call scam center so much, they just changed up everyone's assignments, and they were planning on moving all 3 of our sleeper agents to a new floor.
Literally shut down because of a YouTube duo of some Russian basketball player. That's so awesome.
Where there was no
shut down
CCTV
the entire
coverage. But
operation.
this is where we had a stroke of luck, because the last minute, Johnny thought to have another one of his reformed scammer friends apply for a job. And because he had so much experience on his resume, they hired him on the spot and gave him a more highly trusted role, which meant he could be the one to smuggle in all our gadgets. And so with that, he loaded up, headed in for battle, and an hour later, we had a man on the inside. And by the way, now that we're inside, I'll give you a very quick crash course on what we've learned about how these scam centers operate after watching them for so long. First of all, 90% of the victims are 65 years old or above.
I don't understand
So
that.
fucked.
I don't understand all of this.
They really only make calls during the US working day hours and not on the weekends, because that maximizes their chance the person who picks up will be retired. This is why you never get scam
Or doesn't
calls
have
on
someone
Sunday.
else
They
around.
don't have anyone even working the phones. In fact, many of them have an auto dial prompt that says press 1 if you're over 65 years old, and if you press anything else, it just hangs up. The most common scam is the Amazon refund scam, but they also pretend to be Microsoft,
fucked.
McAfee, Norton Antivirus,
Sorry, I'm looking
IRS,
over 'cause I'm
Enter
running
Bank,
to my
and on
rock.
and on. It's always
in
changing, but it's
Zooglurub
also
right now.
always something you've heard of to try and build trust right out of the gate. If you want to know how much they make, well, that information unfortunately is securely held on the boss's computer, so we can't get to it. Although, I suppose if you had access
I'm on my
to
rock!
the internal cameras, you could just watch the boss type his password, and then you'd be able to access their master tracking spreadsheets, which is what we did, and how we know these large call centers make $60,000 per day. That's $18 million a year. An opener will take the
Jesus,
initial
fuck.
calls, and they make an average of $7,000 a month. Then if they keep the victim on the phone long enough, they hand it over to a closer, and they make on average $15,000 a month. They never say the word scam or victim, instead referring to them as sales and customers. That way they just seem more like a normal office. Although what I think does that job more convincingly are all the walls plastered with inspirational corporate words like synergy or management.
Innovative.
So that's your crash course on how they operate. And the FTC has put out a list of 4 signs
Get
to help
sponsored
spot a
by
scam
them?
and 4 things you can do to protect
Would y'all be
against
mad
them.
if I
I'll lead
scammed
to
the
it
elderly?
in the video description. And so now without further ado, we kicked things off with the stink bomb water bottle. And while that was marinating, he went to the bathroom and dropped off the hand soap
Come
and the
on,
special
man. People
medication
have
with
done
the boss's
worse,
name written
more
on the
evil
front. And it
things,
didn't
like
take long for us to get
like
our first
sell
hit on the
some
smell.
expensive
what was great
cookies.
though is they all kind of covered their noses
Right?
subtly
Like,
in
that's
silence,
so-
the people
so-
next to
so
them
evil,
wouldn't feel
isn't it?
accused. Well, for the
Again,
most part.
I still feel like that's so
Then a few
dumb. I
minutes
feel
later,
so
we
bad
had our
for-
first bathroom customer who clearly doesn't wash her hands after using the restroom. But then we had a second chance with an apparently more hygienic scammer, and this time we struck pay dirt as he comes out trying to figure out what the heck just happened. And 5 minutes later, you can see him still trying to work it out. And
How
not long
dare
after
she
that,
market
we
a
got our
product?
first mention of the special package in the bathroom.
You are a Twitch streamer, you scam every single person, so... Oh, that's true, actually. I have seen people, unironically call me a scammer because I accept donations on Twitch. So they just think all streamers are scammers, and you know what? Are they really wrong? Like, are they really wrong? I'm being scammed. If you've ever spent any money, any of your time on Twitch, if you've been here for longer than 10 seconds, you're being scammed and you don't even know it. And that's the truly sad and tragic thing about this. Illuminati, thanks for the 14 months.
The audio cut out here, but our agent told us they were laughing and wondering how the boss could possibly leave that lying around. Although it certainly doesn't feel too far off brand, given he uses this as his profile pic on Facebook. And at this point, our agent placed and then triggered the time delay countdown on the cockroach, rat, and smoke bomb traps so he can now safely make his getaway.
Oh god, it's the cursed water bottle.
You okay? You're safe. Yeah. I thought they were just following me.
And since they, of course, have no idea what's about to happen, they're still just casually talking about the bathroom.
There's Viagra in the bathroom.
And then a few moments later, the first boxes must have triggered because this guy notices a cockroach and nopes his way out of there. And then he's quickly followed by the second dude. And I love it, because now you just randomly see cockroaches start coming in frame. And so now that they know what they're up against, they call in the reinforcements with a mop. But it looks like he missed one. Or two.
My fucking head was blocking it.
Actually 4. Scratch that. 5. And then as if perfectly on cue, right as the mop guy finishes his cleanup, the smoke begins. And this causes
I'm a scammer! I'm a scammer!
It takes them a while.
I admit it. I stream on Twitch, so I'm a scammer.
Usually take it off the premises. Followed soon thereafter by our rat friends. And this is possibly my favorite clip of the whole night, where you see a cockroach lead the way and wander all around as they argue and try and make sense of what in the world is possibly happening. And by this point, you can tell the boss is pretty sure they're under attack, but just to remove any sense of doubt, we sent them one
Why did he just do a lap like
and
that?
And they almost opened it right there, but I guess with everything else that had already happened so far that night, they took it downstairs. And then this happened.
Oh god. I like how they all take a step back.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
Yeah, in fact there's 4 of them, and they're uploading this footage to the cloud.
Ew. God.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Activation complete. Recovery sequence initiated.
Bro, they made this thing as annoying as possible. Ugh.
So after our incredibly successful special operation, we waited to see what the response would be. And we didn't have to wait long. Yesterday, those cuss words sent Aunch Solutions a package bomb, and it exploded, and there was a bad smell and sprinkler water.
They infiltrated the group chat.
These guys are playing good with us. I am reminding you guys, they must be in between us. We don't even know. And now we had them, because they were paranoid, and they didn't know which of their employees might have been compromised. Check the lunch boxes, pocket bags, shoes, ladies' purse as well. Even check the water, whether there's some color mixed in it. I assume he's referring to the soap dye here, but be cautious, guys, seriously. They came to bad word all of us, and they are still trying to bust us. After that, there were a few more death threats, so we didn't think it was safe enough to—
Wait, this says, hold on. Find them, gonna kill those blank with my own hands.
Few more death threats, so we didn't think it was safe enough to launch our attacks on the other 3 centers to try and get them shut down. But the beautiful thing is, we didn't have to. Big centers in Kolkata and Delhi are closed from today, as well as Monday.
Oh
as
my
per
god,
the
they actually
information I
did
got
shut
from
them
all
down
my
with a
friends.
fucking
We had
glitter
created
bomb
enough
and
confusion
cockroach
and
and
mass panic that not
art
only
spray.
did the other 3 centers get shut down, but we got all the
Prank.
large scam centers all across India shut down for a few days too. And if you add it up, that means those tiny cockroaches stopped $2 million from going from the victims to the scumbags. And I would say that's the perfect ending, but it actually gets even a little better.
helped.
Once Ashton and Art were safely back home on American soil, they decided to troll that text group with those 55,000 scammers by uploading this gem to the chat.
Surprise, surprise, scammers! Art and Ashton over here. No matter how many members you remove from this group, we're still watching. Not only that, we've also downloaded every single person's contact information, all 57,000 of them inside this group. We have every single person's contact information. We're submitting it to the FBI in the United States and the FBI here in India. So you guys better run and you better watch out.
And so if you want to see how quickly the scammers started removing themselves from the chat group, as well as a lot more details of all their work on the ground over in India, you should go check out their video. And not surprisingly, Ansh and the other scam call centers eventually opened back up, albeit this time with much tighter security. But they still didn't, and still don't realize probably till this moment, that we have access to their live camera feeds. So Jim improvised a bit, calling them out by their real names without giving away the fact he was just looking at them on the camera.
Yeah, hi sir, my name is Carolina Fernandez. I am calling you from the Microsoft.
Oh, hi Priya. Hi.
Who are you?
I'm a ghost. Yeah, I don't know.
I'm a ghost.
I don't know, but is your father proud of you, what you do? Does he think you work for Microsoft?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
But you don't work for Microsoft. Did you tell him that? Will I tell you one more name?
Yes.
Soini.
It's a real ghost.
Hello?
He also managed to change the way their voices sound when they would do outbound calls to their potential victims.
Who are you? May I know who I speak with? Who are you?
You're speaking very strangely. What's up?
So to see a lot more of that quality entertainment, you should go check out his video. So after all that, we're sort of in a good news, bad news situation here. The good news is that because of some developments we've been involved in, the 4th center here is going to be raided by the authorities in India and shut down very soon. The bad news is that these other 3 are still very operational. And for reasons I can't say here, we don't have the same option to get them shut down like we do on the 4th one. Now you might ask, why not just privately reach out to the proper authorities in Kolkata where these 3 call centers are located? And the answer is, that's been tried before and it didn't work. While there are many good apples, there are a few bad apples that prevent anything from happening to these guys. So where does that leave us? Well, as they say, sunshine is a great disinfectant, and here's where you come in. We've invested a lot of resources and time and tried to make this video as entertaining as possible in the hopes that you'll consider sharing it for 2 reasons. Number 1, the more people are aware of how these scams work, the less effective
Yeah, I did not know how
and
much
they
money
lose
that
their
they
power.
made.
So
That's
please
crazy.
share it, especially with your older loved ones. And number 2, the more people that see this video and learn about these 3 specific call centers, the more the press will pick it up, especially in India. Heck, tweet our videos to the Kolkata police. This helps out the good apples because the bad ones
they
can't
make
just sweep
more
all the
than
evidence under the
you.
rug or quietly tip off the
At
scam
least
center
I'm not
bosses.
scamming
The
anyone.
press
Oh
and
wait, we already
public
talked
can
about
hold them
that.
accountable. We've seen
Damn.
this tactic
I gotta
work
up my
successfully
game.
in the past, and we have mountains of evidence against all these scam centers. If you are with the press or a law enforcement agency, send us an email to callcenterevidencepack@gmail.com and we'll share everything we have with you. If you combine them, these 3 centers have been in operation an astounding 29 years, and they're still scamming people of their life savings to this day, even right now.
Emiru,
as we
does your
release this
father know
video.
you don't
So
work
let's
for
see what we can do.
Microsoft?
And depending
What if
on
I
exactly
told you
what happens,
my dad is
I'll
also
either
a
post
scammer?
follow-up video here on my YouTube channel or on my other social channels, so subscribe and all that stuff if you want to stay in the loop. Glitter bombs and cockroaches are just harmless entertainment, but our best chance of working together to shut these guys down for good is by shining a light to foster some accountability. Thanks for your help. Now let's make Bessie proud.
Good ass video, bro.
North
I love
VPN
this guy's
for their
videos. I don't know
support
how
on
I
this
hadn't
video.
heard of him
I've been using
before.
their service myself
Someone
for
sent me
over
the
3
squirrel
years now
videos.
because they really are the best at this. With Nord, you can surf the web anonymously.
Make a
your
scam
location
call
stays
center and
private,
hire
and
me.
your data is encrypted. Because even though I'm
Wait,
not a
we
bad guy with
could.
something to hide, I
We
generate a ton
could.
of information online every day.
Wait, but
And I
who would
prefer
we
that
scam? We
information
shouldn't
wasn't
scam the
sold
elderly.
or
That's too
used
fucked
against
up.
me in some
What
way.
if we
Nord collects
scam,
and stores absolutely nothing and makes it so others can't either. Plus, if you're traveling and you want your exact same internet experience at home,
Yeah, League
like Wi-Fi
flyers. Yeah,
it can
good
virtually
idea.
transport you to nearly 60 different countries.
Scam
They
Grayson.
also have a
Yeah,
news service called
League
Threat
streamers
Protection,
and
which is sort of
Grayson
like an umbrella that
specifically.
protects you from malicious sites, downloads, and trackers, even when you're not connected to a VPN. So if you travel or you're just ready to take your privacy more seriously, you can get a 2-year plan.
Okay, actually, maybe one more scam video.